All right, everyone. Well, we've got to talk about GameStop. Right now, shares are down over 40% on the day, and they're down 50% from the highs that were reached in after hours trading. And I don't even want to look at these hands because these are paper hands. They're soggy lettuce hands. I was crying into them all night. That's how they got so soggy. I had a bad day yesterday. Well, I did the red day recap, so you guys already know about that. Today, I redeemed myself. Thank goodness. But it certainly wasn't thanks to GameStop squeezing up because it's down substantially. So what happened? All right. Well, Roaring Kitty went live on YouTube, and I, along with over 600,000 other people, were tuning in to watch it live. So you maybe watched it as well. And so the first thing we know is that he was like 25 minutes late to the broadcast. So we're all sitting there, at 12 p.m. like, I can't wait for him to go live. And then it's 12:05, it's 12:10, 12:15. And the longer we're waiting, the stock starts dropping. So let me get you zoomed in here on the actual chart here. So remember, he was supposed to go live at 12 p.m. Okay, so let's make a line here for 12 p.m. So this is 12 p.m. When he didn't go live right away, people started selling. They're like, I'm out. This whole thing is a fraud. It's fake. I don't know. So it dumps, it halts down, it goes a little lower, bounces up for a quick second, and then it comes down even lower and halts again at the low. So then, can you guess when the broadcast started? It was right here. The broadcast began during a halt down. And so as soon as it resumed, I punched in order to buy 2,500 shares. It rips up to $37. I took the profit out almost instantly for a quick win. And I'm up $5,000 today. You know what? That's my daily goal. I can't complain. Green is good. Up 2,800 on GameStop, up on BCDA, which I'll talk about a little later during this recap. But after that, I began to get a little, what would you say? It was like, so I don't even know. I was so excited. I was so like pumped up. I was like, all right, this is happening. And then he spent the first 11 minutes kind of rambling, and he was wearing a arm brace and had band-aids all over him, and I didn't really get what that was about. It was like an inside joke or something. And he just kind of rambled. So I took some notes while he was doing the broadcast. So the first thing I said, he doesn't feel like he's prepared for this at all. Like didn't feel to me like he's working off of a, not a script, but even just like a general outline of like what he's going to say. So the first 11, 12, 13 minutes, he's kind of just rambling about different stuff. So that, I think, sent me to be like, whoa, what's happening here? Like, this is not what I was expecting. And so while that's happening, the price ends up halting back down. It then resumes trading, and he says a couple of things. He says that, no, I'm not working for hedge funds. This is all my own money. And you know what? Good for him. So he's made $200 million over the last few years. That's incredible. That is absolutely astounding. Good for him. Truly. That's huge. It's insane. I can't even imagine doing that. So, all right. So he says that money's his. It's not anyone else's. This is, his own account. And then he says, people are wondering about what my thesis is. And I'm like, yes, tell us the thesis. Tell us why the $174 million position now. And to give you a little bit of context, for those of you guys that have been on an island in the Pacific Ocean without internet for the last week, last Sunday night, we're all just, relaxing, and I get some comments on my YouTube video. Hey, did you see Roaring Kitty just posted on Reddit? And I was like, no, I did not. And so I go over to Reddit, and I see indeed that he posted that he's got a $174 million position. So this is the position right here. That's the price paid, $174 million. Yesterday, his total gain was $382 million, which gave him an account nearly $600 million. This is insane. I mean, seriously, like, good for him. So he posts that Sunday night. Now, as you may know, you could trade 24 hours on some, it was some brokers. The regulators are allowing it with some brokers. And so Robinhood allows it. And so immediately, because this was posted after, well, market was closed, it was Sunday. So immediately the stock squeezes up 20% in after hours trading, and then they halt it. So they don't allow any more trading till the next day. So I woke up at 2:15 in the morning, so I could be sitting here in front of my computer at 4 a.m. when the market opened, and I hit GameStop, $15,000 of profit in just a couple of minutes. Super solid trade. I was like, boom, boom, this thing, what's going to happen? But then on Monday, something really interesting happened. It squeezed up, and then it came really all the way back down. This is zooming in on Monday. Okay, so it punches higher, and then it comes all the way back down. So let me see if I can give you, I'll show you the trades that I took on this on Monday. I want to really go deep on this, this episode on GameStop, because I think you guys are going to really find this interesting. So let's see, let me grab, I've got the video of my trade here from Monday morning, and then I have a video of my trade from today as well. So let's see, where's that video? I was uploading it. It's already in my archives for members, the library. But for you guys on YouTube, I have it over here. So there we go. Okay, so this is 4 a.m. or 3:45 or something like that. So in this video, I kind of showed a couple things. I was showing the short interest. So in 2021, short interest was over 100%. Right here, short interest is showing at 21%. So it's significantly lower than in 2021. Now, this doesn't account for naked short selling, which we know is a thing. And we know that shorts have probably gotten more creative about trying to hide when they're short. So, there are some variables there. But all he posted on his Twitter was this Uno card. And on Reddit, he just posted this screenshot. That was all we had to work on. So as we're coming up here to 4 a.m., I'm just basically like, let's see what happens. I knew that it had closed yesterday or Friday at $22, and I knew that after hours trading was putting it in the 30s or the low 30s. So I was just like, let's see what happens. All right. So when you're coming into the open at 4 a.m., you don't see any imbalances. It's just everything is 0, 0, 0. So these are just a couple other stocks I had on watch. COS, AMC, and then this was something else. So my plan of action was, if I saw green immediately, I was just going to add. I was just going to take a starter of 250 or 500 shares, depending on kind of how it looked. Now, some people would be a little more aggressive. Others would be more conservative, but this is what felt right for me. So this was the beginning of the week. All right. So Monday morning, three, here we go. So it's now 4 a.m. and I'm in 379 shares at $33.48. And within seconds, the stock is already at 35. I'm up $900. 36 on the offer. I'm in with 1,000 shares. Okay. 37. It pauses for a second. 37. I added another 250 shares. That order didn't get filled. 38.80 on the ask. 39 on the offer. 39.15. I'm in 1,500 shares, up $4,500. 39.50. 39.78 on the offer. 40 coming up. We break through 40, right to 41. 10,000 share seller. Is it going to break? It goes. Nope, not quite. I'm in 2,000 shares now. 41 on the offer. Hidden seller there at 41, and it breaks. It goes to 42. I'm up $10,000. Look at how fast that is. That's incredible. Now you'll see here, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. So remember, I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to capitalize on these types of moves. As a day trader, I'm a hunter of volatility and I'm a manager of risk. So I began my broadcast early on Monday because I wanted to give our members a chance to watch. So by the way, if you haven't already checked out a 2-week trial at Warrior Trading, that's going to be linked down in the description. Pinned at the top of the comments is the URL. So that was Monday morning. Squeezes up, pulls back, and then it kind of stalls out. And what I was hoping was right at 7 a.m. when Robinhood and Thinkorswim come online, that we would go to the moon. But we didn't. We sort of stalled out here. And then, sure enough, we see the talking heads saying, oh, this is a short. we're going to short it because, you know, it doesn't have any reason to be up, blah, 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 blah. So these guys all want stocks to go to zero and just short it to the moon, or to I don't know, short it to oblivion. So at the open, it halts down multiple times, goes all the way down to a low of $27. Now, Roaring Kitty bought the $20 strike price calls, but he paid, I think it was $5.67 for them. So you actually have to add that to the strike price to get your break even. So his break even on those 12 million shares that he controls is about $25.67 approximately. So it was up at 48, and then it comes down almost to break even. The next day, you know, nothing. He posts a P&L, but nothing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, and I did an episode about the 7 reasons why I didn't think this was going to be a repeat of 2021. And I said, short interest is too low. He bought in the money option contracts. He should have bought out of the money contracts to try to force a gamma squeeze. We're not in a pandemic lockdown where people have a lot of time. We don't have government stimulus where people are getting an extra $500 to throw it into the market. You know, what's the thesis? What's the story? I'm not getting context. So I was left feeling like, I don't know what we're going to get. So then yesterday, all of a sudden at, I don't know what time it was, like noon or something, 2 p.m, he posts that he schedules a YouTube live for today at 12 p.m. So now people are like, oh my gosh, he's going to go live. He's going to tell us, you know, why he's in. And so it starts squeezing up. And as you recall, with my weak little paper hands, I got in right about here and caught that jackknife right there and lost $4,000. Then I got back in after hours and caught another flush. It broke here to new highs. I caught another flush. And then I just watched as it went higher and higher and higher. And I was below my max loss. So I held the discipline and said, you cannot take any more trades. Ends up going up to $68 a share. And here I'm starting to get excited. I'm like, okay, this could be big. Now, here's something that I'll say. Because he was streaming during regular market hours, the stock halted a lot. If he had done his broadcast, if he had announced his broadcast was going to be at 4 p.m. right here, oh my gosh. I mean, on the one hand, I think that it could have gone up a lot. On the other hand, having just watched his broadcast, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping for a more intellectual conversation about his thesis and his reason for his conviction, and I personally didn't hear it. Now, that's just me, you know, whatever, but I just didn't hear what I wanted to hear to get excited. So in any case, I looked at after hours trading on Robinhood and I saw it was at $57 a share. I thought about waking up at 4 a.m., but I was like, you know, here's the problem. That worked on Monday because it was sort of a surprise. I think today at 4 a.m., we might even have profit taking from people who were in Europe who missed this and are like, oh, I should just take profit. So I didn't wake up at 4 a.m. Anyways, at 7 a.m., we have news, or it was 6 a.m. News came out. What was the news? GameStop has announced earnings early, and their earnings were a miss. Okay, that's not great. Their sales are down from Q1 this year over year. Sales are down. They're like down 20 something percent. It was, I think, 800 million in sales versus like 1.2 billion. Sales are down. It's a miss. Earnings are a miss. They didn't lose quite as much as they lost in Q1 of last year, but they're still losing money. So they announced that, and then they announced that they had done a shelf registration on May 17th. So if you recall, this all kind of began back on May 13th when Roaring Kitty made his first tweet on Twitter for the first time in several years. And that sent it to the moon. On the 17th, which was right here, they announced, GameStop, the company, announced a $45 million 45 million share shelf registration. So let's jump into the filings here. So this was the 45 million. So let's see. So the automatic shelf registration, I don't know about that. was on May 17th for 45 million share. 45 million shares. Yeah, sorry. So where is this? Let me see if I can find 45 million in here. 45 million. Where's the shares? Shares. So, well, so maybe they didn't say the exact number of shares, but anyways, so then today, prospectus for primary offering right here. So let's see. So this was okay. So this was the offering right here, 45 million shares, and then today, what they posted was that they sold the 45 million shares and raised $933 million. So you and I, us retail traders, this is what really annoys me, is I feel like GameStop, when we're buying, they're just going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. They're just dumping shares. They dumped 45 million shares onto the market over the last couple weeks. And we just bought right into it like suckers. So they sold us 45 million shares. They converted our money into their money. And, you know, that's it. So they raised $933 million. And they decided to offer an additional 75 million shares. An additional 75 million shares. Guys, this is crazy. So their current float is about 269 million shares, give or take. All right. So selling an additional 45 million shares, these are in millions, and then another 75 million shares, that's another 120 million. They're adding, this is going to bring them up to, let's see, 369, so 390 million. They're diluting the value of the company by like 25%, selling this many shares. And if they sell the full 75 million shares, they're going to raise like $2 billion. Well, it depends on what price they sell it at. And so that news came out at whatever it was, 6 a.m. And so what do you think happens? Well, duh, the price drops like a rock. So it just starts tanking here. And it goes from 62 all the way down here to 52, bounces up for a second, then goes all the way down to 36, bounces up for a second, goes down, goes down, goes down. Then it halts up 3 times at the open. And I took my first trade buying at 44 right here, thinking I was buying off volume weighted average price and it was going to bounce. So they got me again. I went red on it. I stopped out. It goes lower, goes lower. And then my green trade was right here during his broadcast. And I only took one trade on it, but, you know, got myself back to green. So let me show you the trade that I took. This was kind of crazy. All right, so let's see. All right, so let me find this for you. So what time was that? Okay, so like right in here. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna put this on screen share so you can see. Okay, so I'm gonna go back 10 seconds. Okay, so right now it's halted, but his broadcast has begun. Okay, so it resumes, and immediately I was like, I just knew that this thing was gonna squeeze up. So I bought 500 shares at 34.68. That was an amazing fill. Added more, 2,500 share position. Look at this. Up at 37 on the offer. 37.50. I took a little profit. 37.32. Sold half. Sold a little more. Sold a little more. I'm up $2 a share. Over $2 a share. Just instantaneous trade. And then I saw this 100,000 share seller. It's a huge seller. Is that? It's a huge seller. So I saw that and I was like, you know, maybe, I don't know if this is what this is going to do. So I held the rest with a stop at break even. And I was hoping maybe it would go higher, but anyways, that was it. And then, as I said, once we got into his stream, I was just kind of let down. And I mean, look, I'm not going to say that he's not 1000% better than me when it comes to choosing stocks long term. This guy's he's a legend, absolute legend of our generation. Incredible what he's done. But there was a part of me that was like, wait, like I'm just still not hearing really a thesis. So he says, confirmed it's his own money. That's great. Believes in part two of his original thesis, which is transforming the business model. And now they've got $1 billion, probably more if they sold more shares, which is going to fund their ability to change the business, potentially transform. He believes in Ryan Cohen, the CEO. Okay. They've got a lot of cash on hand. I just didn't hear a lot more than that. And I didn't hear, it doesn't have high short interest now, as far as we can tell. And as I looked at this, I was like, shorts are going to try to hold the line on this thing, and they're going to be holding against, the $64, $65 level. So, do you want to know who's to blame really for the price going down this much today? It's GameStop. They shorted their own stock practically. They just dumped. I mean, they just put this, that they did the early earnings, and then they put out the news of an additional offering. They shot themselves in the foot. I feel like, at least in terms of just kind of like, just kicking retail in the teeth, because retail was holding this up here at $62 a share. And we were looking for Roaring Kitty to go live. And if he had gone live when the price was sitting right here, his unrealized P&L would have been $500-600 million. And people would have seen that and been like, here we go. We're going to the moon. If we broke 80, we would have been breaking the high from May 13th when he first came in right here on that tweet. And then if we broke over that level, next level is 88. And then we're literally looking at all-time highs. And then that's when shorts really get squeezed. And then into the liquidity of shorts covering, the company could have sold shares, right? Because now shorts are just buying. So sell them shares, right? Don't sell the shares to retail. It's like, pissing on our leg. Don't tell me it's raining. It's not raining. So I'm bummed. And, I don't think Roaring Kitty's, stream was as prepared or coherent as it could have been. But this was what he was working with. The company had just put out bad earnings and announced a second offering. So, he was definitely, I don't know. How would you be feeling if you had just lost $300 million over the last, 30, I don't know, not 30 minutes, but like 15 hours or whatever it's been, he was up here, up like 600 million, and then 12 hours later. So I would have been pretty emotional and just off my game too. So I don't blame him. But some people were like, oh, is this all coordinated? Is he working with GameStop and blah, 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 which of course, would probably be against the law if he was, but some people were speculating that and this and that, but clearly not. I mean, it just seems to me sometimes that, management at these companies don't really know what's going on the ground floor. And it's like, I'm down here in the trenches, and I'm just telling you that if you guys had chosen to delay this earnings announcement, they did it early. But if they had decided to delay this just by even to post it in the middle of the day, to like after he does his broadcast, we could be in a very different situation here. So why'd they let the shorts off the hook? Because that's kind of what happened. They put out the bad news, the shorts got back in control, and now they're holding the line firm. And now, long bias traders, people who bought it, are sitting here, well, I'm down 40% on the day. Not feeling so good. Neither is Roaring Kitty. So, what are we going to do? I mean, there's nothing we can do. Look, I trade volatility. I'm not right 100% of the time. I have my losses just like everyone else. I was red yesterday, bounced back today, up $5,000. I'm grateful for the green day, but I'm disappointed in this price action. And I'm not going to blame Roaring Kitty for it. I'm going to blame GameStop, the company, because I just feel like them announcing the secondary offering, or the shelf registration that they're going to do, and the earnings is just terrible timing. And I know I mean, they can't not post earnings, but they didn't have to post it early. And the shelf registration, I mean, I get that they want to sell more shares onto the market, but I don't know. I just think there's a better way they could have done it. And I think they could have timed it better. So they, it's just kind of remarkable. Anyways, that's just my opinion. But look, I'm here every day trading. I'll trade what's in front of me. This week it was GameStop. And, as we come to the end of the week, so P&L for the week for me, let's see, it was like 15K on Monday. Tuesday, I don't remember what I was up, 3,000 on Wednesday. Thursday was minus 10K rounding up, and then I'm up 5K here. So let's see, so 5, 10. So, finishing the week, I don't know, 10 to 15K. I think I was up 1 or 2,000 here. So yeah, I was up 18,000 on the week, right? Then I lost 10 grand. And then, so I guess I'm at 13,000 on the week. So this week falls for me more or less within the range of what's a normal week for me. I'm aiming for $15,000 weeks, which, I'm not a roaring kitty status trader. I'm in the trenches trader trying to make, a couple $100, couple $1,000 a day. So, let's keep things in perspective here. I'm the fish. I didn't think he was going to become the whale, but he became the whale. So, last month was more or less averaging, 10, 15,000 a week. So here this week was at 17,000, but red 10, back up 5. So take 5 off of that. Yeah. So about 12, 13,000 on the week. Hey, look, you know what? It's a green week. Life is good. I don't need to overstay my welcome. I'm not going to keep trading today. It's already 2 in the afternoon. I stayed longer on a Friday than I typically would, but I'm grateful that we at least had some opportunities today. But I'm bummed out that it doesn't look right now like GameStop's going to 100 anytime soon. That would have been amazing. So since it doesn't look like that's happening, kind of back to regular routine next week. GameStop, AMC, these meme stocks are probably going to fall by the wayside, and we'll be back to focusing on, stuff that's moving. And for what it's worth, MLGO, let's not forget, we had a 600, 700% move on this thing. And then we had ASNS this week too. So we had a couple of really nice ones this week that were not, maybe they had a little bit of GameStop sympathy momentum, but MLGO this week went from $1 up to $15. That was incredible. ASNS, this one squeezed from, how cheap was it? This thing was super cheap. It was down here at 55 cents, goes up to a high of 650. So some big momentum this week, and I think we can expect to see some continued volatility in the weeks ahead. So the name of the game is managing risk and taking it slow. So I'll remind you guys, as always, hey, by the way, check out the 2-week trial if you haven't already. Link is down in the description. Remember, my results are not typical, and there's no guarantee you'll find success, whether you trade with me or you'll learn on your own. So take it slow, manage your risk, practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And as always, I hope you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. I'll be live streaming Monday morning for Warrior Pro members. All right, I'll see you guys then.